I'm going to show how I use this little utility I wrote to generate my information for my hearing studies. I pulled down the information from the ERE and saved it as a CSV file in the where I get a list of my files. And I pull up the main menu of my program here, and you see that there isn't any information for clients or claimants here. So I'm going to go in, and the first thing I've got to do is I've got to clear. I'm going to pull up that file, and I'm not going to actually use the real file. I'm pulling up a dummy file that I created. And the way that CSV file looks when it comes down from Social Security, it's got real bad formatting, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert it to a database format. And if you see here, it's gone from that real scattered look to it's got the information regarding your contract, claimant last name, first name, middle name, Social Security number, hearing office, when the interrogatory might be due, the date of the hearing time, date of expert access, medical expert location, vocational expert location, claimant location, ALJ last name and first name, and the location of the ALJ. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I see that it's got those pulled up. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to import, and I could set this up to import it automatically, but I really prefer looking at each one as it comes up. So this first one, you see we've got the hearing time, the hearing date, hearing time, date of access, first name and last name of the claimant, Social Security number, location of the hearing, ALJ first name and last name, and then this is some searches that you can do if you're looking for just a specific judge. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and copy this one, and I'm going to copy this whole docket of cases for Smith Jones, and I'm going to actually do several judges here because it's uh, pretty simple. So I'm just going to pull them all up, and okay, so I've got all of those pulled up, and I can go through them individually up here. I can look and see what I've done if I want. But now I'm going to go back to my main screen, and I'm going to see that, what all claimants that I've got. And you notice that if we go to the first claimant, we've got Jane Doe, and it's formatted in such a way. And this is with Judge Smith Jones. We don't have an age, we don't have an education because ERE doesn't have that information. But let's say I want to do just, I can pull up a list of all of my claimants. And if I do it this way, you can see that I've got 2 full pages of claimants uh, listed here. Okay, now the next step that I want to do is I want to go in and I can go into ERE, and when I'm going to pull down the file, I can go here and I can click copy the SSN, and then I can move over to the ERE page and download the PDF files, and I usually just download them and pick them up later. It's getting where it's pretty quick anyway. So I get, say, the whole week of claimants downloaded, queued, and then I switch over to my file that I've downloaded, and I've got these forms. And again, these are dummy forms. There's no real claimant associated with these. And you go to the disability report, and of course you go to usually page 3 on that, and that's going to give you your education, So you got education. You see that this person has 2 years of college, and that this person's had these jobs. So I'm going to go back to my program, and I'm going to indicate that Jane Doe has had 2 years of college. Okay, and I don't have the age yet, so let me switch back over, and I'm going to go down to the disability office, and then I see that the date of birth is 02/01/69, and since we're already past that date in 2000, she's now 51 years of age. So I switch back over here, and I'm going to put 51 down as the age. Okay, so I've got that one saved. Now, I'm going to go and look real quick, and I'm going to look at the job history. And I look down here, and I see that she's worked as an warehouse clerk, manufacturing, a legal secretary, administrative assistant, and inventory clerk. So I'm going to take a look and see real quick at the job. Looks like pretty standard warehouse clerk. Rate of pay wasn't anything high, so probably not a manager. So I'm going to go back to my program, come up here, and I'm going to look for warehouse clerk. Don't see that. So I'm going to try shipping and receiving clerk. And that looks like pretty much what the claimant did. So I've already got a few transferable skills identified here, but I'm not quite at that stage, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I come down, I'm going to switch over and see what that second job was. That was a legal secretary. So I'm going to go to legal secretary. Okay, and that pulls up. Okay, and it's got the DOT, the information, SVP, sedentary, reasoning, math, language, and these factors, and then just a few common transferable skills that I've already identified over the years. Haven't gotten real carried away with it in this case, but administrative assistant in the library. Okay, I'm going to go down and see what that job was, because ordered books, took them in, came in, categorized them, entered them into the library system. Okay, that sounds probably, let's look at the library jobs. Library consultant, library assistant, compiles records, reviews records, files cards, repairs books. Yeah, maybe that one. Let's look and see what else we got. Yeah, library assistant's probably a pretty good one for that one. Okay, and you notice that I hadn't done any research on the transferable skills for this job, so I'm just going to go in there and I'm just going to real quick look at transferable skills. And let's see, we got compiling records. So compilation, receiving, products, not really products, but it's close. Let's see, inspecting for damage, sorting, paperwork's good enough, but okay, let's say I wanted to do, okay, let's see, and you know, the different types of things that this person might use would be scanners. So I'm going to select some tools they might use a laser printer, maybe a cash register in some cases, handheld calculator, mail out opening equipment, laminating machines, microfiche readers, that's probably something. Not too many of those. maybe a digital camera. So we're going to list those and we're going to save those tools. Technology, Office Suite, word processing, spreadsheet software, uh, database user interface for like record keeping database, Microsoft Access. So we're going to use a database. And then library softwares, and we can identify those individually if we want. Okay, so we save our technology. I'm going to go into all the connecting fields and pull those in. Okay, now I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to go back to my main screen, and you see that it pulled up all these transferable skills for this job. If I was really doing this, I'd find some others, and there'd be others now. And that way I've got all this available, all the cross codes and so on. And that's really not necessary for, it's going to be a basic transferable skills at age 51. So we're, if they are at sedentary work. Okay, so there was one more job. So what was that last job? That last job was inventory clerk. Okay, inventory clerk is pretty basic. So let's go up here, look at the inventory clerk. Okay, we've got an inventory clerk. That one there is pretty similar. I could go in and do more detail on these if I want to. Now, one of the things is now the library assistant in the program now permanently retains these transferable skills. So I don't necessarily have to look them up. I can select them and then I can look at what the claimant did and kind of go from there. Okay, so at this point, I'm pretty much ready for the hearing on the person. I may want to look at, I can look at jobs where transferability can function. I've got a number of components further into the program, but for right now, I'm just going to kind of stop here, and I can look at my next claimant and do the same thing. Pull up the job information. Program also has a few other features. For example, it's got a list of all the cross codes. And let's say I've got a name, uh, and I want to look up, and the only word I could find was analyst. And so that's going to let me pull up any DOT job that has that. Now, I might have some other information I can use, like, just user support. Uh, user support. I mean, you can do kind of any of that. Now, one of the features this does have is, let's say I go with truck driver. Let's go with a dump truck driver. When I close this, that's going to pull up dump truck driver here. And I can look at the alternative titles over here to the right that come with that DOT code. And if I choose, if that's a job that I want, I just select that. And